Oh boy. Good morning. Good morning. Oh man, I slept in. I've been so tired since starting this new medication. And I don't know, I'm just exhausted. But my numbers are down. Good morning, everybody. I didn't even have time. Of course, anybody's home. Hey there, brother. I was just telling everybody I slept in this morning. This is my second day in a row where I'm just like exhausted sleeping in and I have a headache. And I think, and I'm sure that Simon Jester will agree, it's my new medication, my metformin, but my numbers are down, ladies and gentlemen. I'm happy to report that this morning, many of you know I started taking my blood sugar almost 2 weeks ago, about a week and a half ago, after being diagnosed. And when I first did my first blood sugar, it was 312. And that was after sleeping all night and waking up in the morning, first thing, 312. But this morning when I took my sugar, it was 181. So it has come down quite a bit. Good morning, Brian, Monica, Snow Gardener, which I know starts with an M and I can never remember. We've either got Chris or Sarah, and we've got Andale. Good morning, everybody. And I saw that Scott was in here earlier this morning. So pretty sure not only is my medication messing with me, but I am taking it faithfully. I do want to say that a few days ago, I started getting Marlene. I'll try to remember that. I've been having these headaches, and they're kind of tension headaches in the back, but they almost feel like high blood pressure headaches too. Well, I was sitting here last night after sleeping yesterday. Was it yesterday or Monday? I slept till 5 in the afternoon. I don't know. But I'm working on editing something, and my vision was just so blurry, even with the glasses. And I thought, oh, my eyes have gotten so bad, and I just don't understand. Good morning, Tom. And so I wiped them off, and they were still blurry. And then I started seeing these little words. Can you see, if I hold it, see those little black little words? I started seeing these little words at the bottom of my vision. It's like, where are those coming from? Now I'm seeing things, and it was freaking me out. I didn't remove the little plastic covers on the glasses. I just took them out of the bag. They're just readers. I bought them. I took them out of the bag, and I just put them on, and I didn't see these little tabs to take them off. I've been walking around for 2 days like this going, oh my God, I'm going blind. Good morning, Denise. Thank you. And see, just laughing just gave me a headache. And I'm not dehydrated. I've been drinking water and water and water and water. So I'm making changes. I'm doing the best I can. I'm hoping my eyes will get better. Good morning, Kingsway. I'm hoping that I'm not low on electrolytes either. So, because I'm drinking a lot of water, and but I think I need to find like maybe a sugar-free Gatorade or something just to give me a little bit of a boost of electrolytes. Because if you have ever been on metformin, you know that it causes digestive issues as well. So, might not be hanging on to things that I should be hanging on to in the way of electrolytes and minerals. But I haven't had a soda in like 2 weeks. And look, hubby brought me home a root beer zero. Look, that's all I drank. That's it. I'm behaving myself. Even though there's no carbs in it, I'm still going to my water. So thank you, Kingsway. My oncologist used to do my hair and I was bald. And when my hair grew back, I looked like a sloth, like salt and pepper. And it was just like Tahir, and it hung funny. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to just have fun with it. I had fun with it before I lost all my hair, but I'm just going to have fun with it when it comes back. So I color it this beautiful magenta color. Good morning, James. Coconut water or pickle juice is great for rehydration. I'll have to try. I don't know if I'm in the mood today to drink pickle juice. I think I have to be in a mood. But yes, this soda, zero sugars. but I've been drinking my water. I have sugar-free creamer for my coffee. I didn't even have time to make coffee this morning because I slept in. Now, I want to tell you guys, because last time I shared with anybody about what was going on with this new diagnosis of diabetes, wifey over at Blind Guy and his wife, their life. She was like, tisk, 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 you didn't have any fruit with your breakfast. Well, because I was in Walmart for 3 hours. And if you think I'm going to be touching all of the apples that all the grimy kids have been touching while they're out there with their mamas shopping, I'm not going to. But I have an apple today. And I have natural peanut butter without sugar and a whole grain English muffin. So if you will excuse me, while we're chatting, I'm going to be making sure I get some sustenance so I can take my morning pill, because I am late this morning. Pedialyte. I do have some Pedialyte on hand, but I don't think it's the sugar-free. Ooh, that is rude. I just shoved that whole piece. I was going to make that 2 bites, and I just shoved it in like a carp. Oh my gosh. Yes, major changes. I have my almonds here that I snack on when I'm hungry. My test kit right here at all times, and I even bought an extra one to keep in my purse. James, I'm glad you're here. Like a carp. Yep. So what have you guys been up to this week? I've been sleeping. Making new friends like Snow Gardener 307. Love her channel. Okay, so I'm going to say right now, peanut butter was not a good choice because now it's stuck to the roof of my mouth and I can't swallow. Oh my goodness. One second. This is so rude. I'm so sorry. You know, this isn't like me. I'm famished. I also don't think I'm getting enough carbs during the day. So instead of having a half of a English muffin and a half of an apple, I'm doing the whole English muffin this morning. I am eating, Chrissy, but I've really restricted the carbs, and I'm wondering if maybe I've restricted them too much. But I am eating, and I'm eating healthy. I just think I need to up it a little bit. So, but I did go out. I've spent the last couple of days spending a little bit of time out in the garden that I started neglecting when I started feeling sick. And I went out this morning and I started pulling all of my marigolds. I'm going to have thousands of marigold seeds this year. And I'm going to put them up. And I think next year I'm just going to go around the farm and just Johnny Appleseed them everywhere. And I'm hoping I will just have marigolds all over the place. It's been a long time since I've given away any marigold seeds. Maybe we'll do that later today during our live. Maybe I will have a contest for a packet of seeds from my farm because it's been a little while. Yes, Monica, check out Snow Gardener. I absolutely love, very detailed. I showed my husband last night and he's like, oh my gosh, I thought you were detailed. This woman is detailed. Good morning, Cha-Cha love. My love. But the reason I love her is not only is she so detailed, but she's fun. And she uses all these different colored markers and erasable pens. And I'm like, it's like office supply heaven when you watch her. And I love it. And she's just so precise. And I love how she's so organized. And I was thinking this morning, I should get some of her printables and maybe put together my budget like I used to do. Start following her tutelage. And I thought, Papa Jim's not going to go for that. And the reason Papa Jim's not going to go for that, because I know Papa Jim does not want me to know what his balance is on the tool truck, because every time he goes on the tool truck, there's an issue. I know he spends his money, and I don't deny him one thing. He always says to make money, you got to spend money. and he's always getting the tools that he needs for his job. But if you saw his setup, you would be like, whoa, overload. I mean, I think his setup is probably, I don't know. I think it's 12 feet from end to end with all of the big, huge toolboxes. And he has a big piece of wood that he steps on to get into the upper drawers and stuff. It's massive. It's massive. Good morning, Brenda. Yes, Jim is a technician as well. Papa Jim, he is an ASE world-class tech. And I believe in the state of Iowa, there's only 3 of them. So I'm proud of him. So I got to throw that around. He was an ASE master tech for a long time. And now he's an ASE world-class tech. And he had his own shop for a while when we lived in California. But unfortunately, he was not equally yoked with his business partner. And that just didn't go well. But he's been with General Motors for years and years and years and years. Chris is ASE as well. Yeah. So Chrissy understands what it's like when the Snap-on truck rolls up. And Jim came home the other day. This is so funny. He came home the other day and he says, look at this. And he hands me this little plastic cup. Okay. And it says Snap-on on the side. He goes, you use it for ice cream. And when you put the ice cream in it, the cup turns Arctic blue, like the blue on an iceberg. I was like, ooh, that sounds fun. We're going to have some ice cream. He goes, look, I got 2 of them. So he hands me these 2 bowls. I'm like, yay. And he goes, look, it comes with its own special ice cream scoop. And when he hands it to me, I'm like, wait a minute. What did you buy? And he just starts laughing because I know nothing is for free. He doesn't come home with free Snap-on stuff. He had to buy something. And so he doesn't say. Brian's a mechanic by trade. Tools are life. But you're the other business owner, so you know what he spends on tools, huh? You don't even want to know what his box and his tool contents cost. I believe, and he has not done an inventory on it, but I know his setup's well over 100,000, and it's like you need to document all of that just in case there's a tornado or something. You didn't get offered an ice cream scoop. Get an ice cream scoop, Chrissy. Get them. Get them. He came home the other day. Oh yeah, it's well over 100, I'm sure. He came home the other day, and he said, "Well, I did it. I bought my side locker, whatever, another piece of this big monstrosity." I'm not kidding. If you see memes of a mechanic with those big, huge, monstrous walls of Snap-on toolboxes, that's what he's got. And he says, "I bought my la la la." I said, "Oh no, Mama not happy because you didn't bring me anything. What did you bring me?" He says, "Oh, nothing." What happened? There, I'm back. Was I supposed to get this Dutch oven, all cast iron? I said, you call your dealer right now. And you tell him that Mama needs her cast iron skillet for the summer kitchen. They didn't have one. He had to order. I told him, I said, you tell him I'm very upset. And sure enough, Jim came home one day with that skillet and the Dutch oven. And he says, you need to write my Snap-on guy right now and thank him, because I think he had to get it from another dealer like 3 states away and have it shipped over. But that Snap-on dealer knows to keep Jim happy because Jim spends money on his truck. James, you have to get an ice cream scooper, but that means you have to get the ice cream. I know. I'm really disappointed, guys, and I'm going to look into this. I will fix it. Yes, where he works, there's been several tornadoes that have just wiped out businesses. So he really does need to make sure that he has everything documented. I'm sure his Snap-on guy can just do an inventory on him from what he's bought. But I was so disappointed to put away my ice cream maker the other day because I'm reorganizing my pantry. And oh my gosh, what a fiasco that was. But I'm reorganizing my pantry, and I've been keeping the inside for my ice cream maker in the freezer so I could just pull it out and make ice cream anytime I want. Well, I took it out and I put it in the ice cream maker and I put it away because until I figure out some good recipes that I can have that are not going to spike my sugars, Mama's not making ice cream. And that means that Papa Jim's Andy Mints candies have been put away too. So he's not going to be able to find them. So, but this pantry remake that we've been doing, oh my gosh, I've been canning so much. And, for the last year and a half, every time we go to the store or anything, we buy extra. We don't panic buy. We don't hoard, but I do get an extra whatever. And it's sometimes that extra is if I see that the canned milk is in good supply, I will get a case of canned milk and I'll put it in my cart. So recently I just really, really stocked up and I was just running out of room, and there's groceries all over the floor. I had no room for everything. So good morning, Tiny Tim. So I told Papa Jim, I said, you know what? We need to move the washer and dryer out, and we put it out in the boot room. And bless his heart, he's been fighting me on that for a year. I said, but we also need to get we've got those really nice stainless steel chrome looking kitchen carts, the professional kitchen shelves that are like 6 feet tall, and they have 4 or 5 shelves. We have 3 of those in there, but then we moved up a gorilla rack from the basement, those heavy duty ones that hold 2,000 pounds for all of my canning. And we put that one in there, and it's like, I still need another one. So let's move the washer and dryer out to the boot room, and I'll explain why that is an issue. And then we'll put another gorilla rack in. Finally, he concedes. When was the ice cream scoop? We're going to text our dealer and bust his heart about that. I'm going to say it was probably maybe June or July. It was this summer that he brought it home, and they're just adorable. And they're not very big, not your Snap-on dealer's balls, but the cups that the ice cream go in. They're about this big. Sorry, I had to. I mean, that was such a good setup. Anyways, so he takes the washer and dryer out and puts them in the boot room. And he brings up another gorilla rack shelf, and he puts it where the washer and dryer were. And now it's like freezer over here, this big rack over here, this big rack over here, these weird racks in the middle. And he's getting everything all set up. And I said, this isn't going to work. Not going to work. I said, the freezer needs to go over here, and this rack needs to be slid down, and the new rack needs to be brought over. And it's like those little puzzles. You know those little puzzles when you were a kid where it has like 9 spaces, but 8 little squares, and you have to move the squares around and try to get them just right so you can solve the puzzle. And you can never solve them. And you end up prying out the pieces and then shoving them back in and say, look, I did it. That's what this was like. We were shoving and moving things around all over the place. Finally got it set up. So now I have 12 glorious feet of nothing but gorilla rack on one wall, full of canned goods, full of my Augustin Farms survival foods all in there. They're all stacked all pretty. There's even room for my dehydrator to go on a shelf, just all of this stuff. And then the freezer at the end, it looks beautiful. I'm still cramped in there, but it looks much better. And he was joking with me, and he said, your pantry now has more food in it than the little country store did where you grew up. And it's true. They didn't even have this much food in there. I'm not saying it's a lot, but when you grow up in a little country store, they have limited supplies, but I've got more than that poor little store did. So the reason that it's an issue to take the washer and dryer out to the boot room is we've been in this farmhouse now for almost 8 years. And when we first moved here, the washer and dryer was in the basement. And the basement is cold and dark and spider webs. And I don't like going down there. I just don't like going down there. And I hated going down there. I hated, we were living upstairs. So that means taking your laundry down to the main floor, down to the basement, washing, drying, up to the main floor, up to the upstairs. And I just disliked that immensely. So, and it was down there the whole time I was going through treatment, as was our only shower. I had to go down there to shower when I was going through chemotherapy. And it was just such a chore because I couldn't do it by myself. I always had to wait for Jim to be home because I didn't have the strength to go down the stairs and back up. And then he had to watch me while I showered to make sure I didn't topple and fall or anything. So he was kind enough. Once we got all of our ducks in a row, he moved the washer and dryer up to the boot room, and I didn't have to go in the basement anymore. And I loved it. Oh, and we had it in there for a few years. And then I got the great wild hair up my nose and said, I need to make this middle bedroom our pantry / laundry room. So out, and that room has been a bedroom and a bathroom with my clawfoot tub in it. It was gorgeous. Now it's a pantry laundry room. So we had everything in there for a while. And then I said, now we need to move the washer and dryer back out of the pantry and back into the boot room. So it has gone from the basement to the boot room to the pantry and now back to the boot room. That poor man has moved those washers and dryers. I don't do spiders. As a Marine, I would burn the place down with a flamethrower. Oh, I'm telling you. Let me tell you this story. And this was like our first year here. Like I said, the only shower that we had was in the basement. Upstairs, the bathroom had been destroyed. It was a mess and no shower anyways, just an old tub. And so the only shower in the whole house was in the basement. And so I went down there one day. I threw a towel in the dryer so the towel's getting nice and warm. And I'm in this god awful shower stall. It's like the cheapest one you can get at the store. It's very flimsy and it's just awful. But I showered real quick and I stepped out onto this cold cement floor and tiptoeing with my slippers and everything. And I take the towel out of the dryer. And I flip my head forward and I put the towel around my hair and, you twist it. And when I twisted it and I flipped it back up so that I could, tuck it underneath back here or just wear it back, I flipped it up and I didn't realize at the time, but the end of that towel went up and just swiped up in between the joists of the upper floor. All of the cobwebs, just swiped them all, and then it went behind and then just prominently placed them all on my backside and down my legs. You want to talk about getting the heebie-jeebie ninja moves. When I realized what I had done, and I was just back where I couldn't reach, covered in all of these slimy, sticky cobwebs and not even knowing if there were spiders in them. Oh my God. I pulled that towel off and ran back in the shower as quick as I could so I could and get all of those spider webs off me. And I never did that again. I learned my lesson on that one. But I like threw my neck out, threw my back out because I just got so freaked out that I was covered in these spider webs and I was jumping around. Hello, Britain Farms. Oh, now we're talking alcohol. Okay. I see vodka and tequila and now gin. I'm missing out on the good stuff. Chris, are you making fun of Cha-Cha? What kind of Mexican doesn't like tequila? Who are you? I love me some Patron. Brian the Beer Snob, he's just a beer guy. I get it. Okay, so no gin for Cha-Cha because it makes her angry. Ooh, and it gives her flash. Oh, no, Chris, gin makes him angry and gives him flashbacks. Okay, no gin for you. No gin for you. Good morning, Southern Roots. I'm glad I took the film off of my glasses or I would think that was a spider and not the sunshine. I'm eating my breakfast, guys. I'm trying to be good. I don't want my sugars to tank and spike. So I have a hair tickling my nose. So I did go shopping. I'm going to do a video on some really neat low carb things that I bought. I don't want our mornings to be all caught up with what I'm doing. All right, Chrissy, if I wrap things up here, I'll come over in a bit. You have a great day too, honey. Give that puppy a kiss. Scratch its little pink belly for me. Chrissy got the most adorable puppy. Little chocolate lab. Adorable, adorable, adorable. So I'm thinking about doing a live this Sunday. I think this Sunday is the 21st. Can somebody confirm that for me? No, it's not, is it? If Monday was the 15th, 16th, 17th, today's the 17th, 18th. Oh, it is. It is. So Sunday's the 21st. Sunday will mark 1 year exactly that I have been on YouTube. And I never did my 500 subscriber giveaway. So I think Sunday we're going to come on live and do a little giveaway to celebrate the 500 and the 1 year anniversary. So I have a couple things. We're going to do some mugs. We're going to do homemade gifts. Gosh darn it. I've got one hair just tickling my nose to no end. So I want you to watch in the next couple days. I'm going to be doing a registration video. You have to comment on that registration video and I will put a keyword in it. And that way, if anybody who puts the keyword in will be registered for Sunday's giveaway. It's not a huge giveaway, but I've got some homemade items that I think you'll enjoy. And we'll do some Country Mama Musings merch. So keep an eye out for that. I know 1 year anniversary. Woohoo! And, I'm like ADD all over the place. So it's a wonder I even stayed with it for a whole year. But I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to the next year. I'm looking forward to reaching 1,000. But that's not my primary goal. My primary goal is to just have fun, make videos that my kids and my grandkids will be able to look back on and enjoy, and bring a little content and fun and laughter and get to meet all of you wonderful people. I think that's the main thing that I want to do. But of course, if I get to the 1,000, I'm not going to poo-poo that away either. Oh, pepper jelly as a giveaway? Maybe. I might do a pepper jelly. Now, that video is premiering tomorrow, I think. Stop barking. The turkey's on the porch. So maybe I'll throw in, Monica, maybe I'll throw one of those in there. Peanut butter. I'm sorry, guys. I can't even talk. It's a great segue. Okay. I want to tell you, too, I've been having so much fun with our Country Mama quickies on Monday nights. And I am booked out to March. Okay. Everybody wants a quickie with Mama. I had the Ann Lynn show contact me and said they'd really like to have a quickie with me before I go live on their show, which is in the first week in December, I believe. And so I mentioned it last night, Monday night. That dog's going to want to let out. Let me let her out before she blows your ears out. 1 second. She saw a squirrel. And of course, all of my chickens are right on the edge of the road. They have 5 acres to roam. Why they want to go to the edge of the road and possibly be hit by a truck or picked up and taken away is beyond me. Good morning, Donna. So the Ann Lynn show, they want to have a quickie and I'm booked. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be emailing them today. And I'm thinking either this Monday or next Monday, we're going to be doing a quickie in the middle of the day. And I'm going to call it Country Mama Quickies Afternoon Delight. Who remembers that song? You guys remember that song from the 70s? It was a lot of fun. So we're going to do a couple of quickies in the afternoon. And if that proves to be successful, I might throw a couple more in there for those of you who are on the East Coast or can't stay up, at 9:30 Central. If it just makes you too dog tired, then we'll see about maybe putting a couple more in there. So that will be fun. So keep an eye out for that. Ann Lynn, they're funny. A couple of funny little ladies. Yes. Afternoon Delight. I was far too young when I was singing that song in the 70s to enjoy it. My mother used to admonish me. So many things. I wasn't allowed to listen to Rod Stewart growing up, I'll tell you that. It was very, very, I was sheltered. And anytime anything would come up that was, popular in school or something, my mom and dad were like, nope, not going to happen. I don't care if Donna Summer works hard for her money. You're not singing it. I didn't know what she was doing to work hard for her money. I just knew she was working. I was like, why aren't you proud of her? So let me see what else has been going on. Somebody start a side conversation. We'll discuss it. Oh, you had a crush on her, huh? You know something interesting I learned? Same topic, different band. Peaches and Herb. You guys remember Peaches and Herb reunited? There was only one herb, but there were several peaches. He went through peaches like water. Lots and lots of peaches. Okay. I had all kinds of stories to tell you guys. And I'm telling you, this brain fog from this medicine is real because I didn't write them down. I can't remember what we were going to talk about today. But maybe I'll post the link. I'm going to tell you another thing. This is the slowest I've ever eaten a meal. It's like, look how much is still left. And I'm happy to report that it only took me a couple weeks to get used to going back to the natural peanut butter. You do not realize how much sugar is in peanut butter until you go back to a natural peanut butter. And then you're like, oh, that's not the same. Yeah, I saw that you had surgery a couple weeks ago, Snow Gardener. Marla? Tell me I'm right. It's Marla. Don't make me scroll. It's M. Marla. Is it Marsha? Is it Marsha? Is it Marla? Hey, Big Matt. How you doing, buddy? Oh, look, she's here on her second channel. Guys, she has 2 channels. One's about budgets. One's everything but budgets. So much fun. Oh, yeah. Marlene. It's not Marla. Marlene. It will take me several times to get that. Doing good, Matt. Living the dream. Making changes. I want to show you guys, look. Ever since I started losing weight with this stuff, look at, I got this like turkey waddle. I used to have a big double chin. Now it just kind of hangs there funny. But you know what's the most important thing about this big old chin waddle? Papa Jim still comes home. As long as Papa Jim still comes home, I'm good. But yes, I'm only halfway to for my hours, my watch hours, Marlene. But I'm having fun getting there. She's throwing you for a loop, isn't she, Monica? Isn't she? It is true love. I always told him, though, for the longest time now, it's like, if you ever wanted to say, Gee, I don't know. You're fat, and I don't think things are working anymore. I could easily say, I'm fat, you're bald, I can diet. But I've never had to say that to him. He comes home every day. I love that. I'm back. I was just typing that the internet was being a brat. He can get hair plugs, but oh, God, that's so disgusting. Have you ever seen somebody, the top of somebody's scalp after they get those hair plugs? Ugh, I don't know that he would do that. I don't know that he would do that. Well, how are you? In the garden picking tomatoes. You still have tomatoes. Wow. Speaking of tomatoes, I do have another video coming out with our tomatoes that we harvested this year. But everything here is dead. DED dead. We've had enough frosts. We've had some snow. Everything is dead. And that's why I was out picking all of gotta run. Bye, Brian. Thank you for showing up, buddy. We'll talk to you soon. I'm gonna be doing some voiceover for Jim's Kitchen. He's asked me to sing in an upcoming video, so I'm going to work on filming that this weekend. I think that will be fun. So make sure you catch that. And Brian, have a great day. Squirrel. Totally forgot what I was saying. Anyways, I love my husband. I think that's where I was going with that, was that I love my husband. And he puts up with a lot. I'm always asking him to move stuff, and he does good. It is an awesome channel, Brian. Jim's Kitchen. Guys, if you haven't checked out Jim's Kitchen, you got to go check it out. He's hysterical. I think he's either really close or at 1,000 now. Tell him Country Mama sent you over if you go over and subscribe and comment on one of his videos. He is so adorable. I love him. I want to meet him someday, and I need to have a quickie with him. I need to get him on for a quickie. Maybe I'll do an afternoon delight quickie with him, because I think it would be hysterical, and it would be even better if he dressed up as Elvis. So that might be something we'll do. So I know I was telling a story, but I totally forgot it. I'm going to drop the link. And if anybody wants to come up and chat with me, I really don't have any stories to tell today. I know I have stories. You guys know I always have stories, but for some reason I didn't write. You know, people will say things or people will do things and it sparks a memory. And then it's like, oh, I know a good story for that. And then I usually write it down, and then I can come back and say, oh, I got to tell you this story, and this is what made me think of this story. And then, but I forget to write them down sometimes. I just have no idea what I was going to talk about. I will tell you this, though. I had a visitor here at the farm this week, and she's in the chat. And Denise called me up, and she said, I've got something for you. Can I stop by? And so we made arrangements. She wanted to come, you know, I was like, oh, come this day. And it's like, oh, no, I can't do that because I had a medical thing, which I ended up canceling. And come this day. And then I had a family brouhaha come up. So she came over Sunday. And she says, I really need to get this over to you because it's alive. And, you know, Papa Jim's in the middle of moving all of these shelves and the washer and dryer. And I said, oh, Denise is bringing something alive over. He's like, oh, gosh. He goes, we can't handle any more animals. He goes, I just can't handle it. Because, you know, the majority of it falls on him, especially when I'm not feeling well. And so I didn't know what she was going to show up with. But she showed up. I had been sharing with you guys last week or 2 weeks ago about my mother had given me an amaryllis when I was very young and just had, you know, just married, had a couple babies, and was still very nomadic in our lifestyle. You know, we would rent this apartment or go to that apartment. We didn't have a home of our own yet. And so I was still all over the place. And my mother gave me this amaryllis, and I didn't appreciate it. I was going to say I didn't know how to take care of it. And that's That's a bad excuse. That's a poor excuse. I could have learned how to take care of it, even though this is before the days of Google. I just was so busy with babies and just trying to survive in a young marriage that I just didn't give it the love and attention that it needed. I didn't prioritize it. And now my mother's gone, and I don't have that amaryllis that she gave me all those years ago to bloom every year. And I was, lamenting about that. And sure enough, here comes Denise. And she comes walking up my steps, and she has this little bag. And in this little bag, she has 2 amaryllis bulbs. And she says, these are from my garden, and they started from the amaryllis that my parents gave me. And I don't know how many years ago. She can jump in here and maybe tell me how long ago that parent plant started at her home. And now she has babies everywhere. So she dug up 2 babies and brought them over to me. And I'm so happy to report that I've planted them. I'm putting priority on this. I'm taking it seriously and appreciating it. And Denise knew my mother. So there's this connection. There is this connection because Denise knew my mom. And so I have both bulbs planted lovingly, and I will take great care of them to the best that I can. And what's really nice too is now I have YouTube, so I can YouTube tutorials about the best way to take care of these amaryllis, even though Denise says she just throws them in the ground and leaves them and they do their own thing. I want to make sure, as long as I've got them in the pot over the winter here, I'm going to keep them as healthy as I can and do my best by them. And I was told, that's all you say. You don't say anything else. Otherwise your plant won't make it. You just say, wonderful. I'm going to grow beautiful flowers. And that's what I'm going to do. 10 years ago, Denise says, Mom gave her her first one. And now I'm growing its babies. It's in my kitchen window right now. I just got them in some dirt. Not just, but since she brought them over. So yes, I was talking about the other day in my life. If you need any help, feel free to reach out. Monica says about learning about StreamYard. Yes, such a great thing. Good morning, Dana. Dana, I have not gone to the mailbox yet, so. Baroque Cowgirl, my mother-in-law has amaryllis, and she does nothing to them. Okay. What could I have possibly done almost 40 years ago to have not been successful with an amaryllis if all you do is nothing? Monica, you're going to love Marlene. You really are. And Marlene, you're going to love Monica. This is like, I feel like Chuck Woolery, 2 and 2. So let's see. Here goes the link again while I chomp on my apple. You know what? I bought some stuff the other day, and I'm trying to decide. I mean, it's probably too late to do anything about it now. I'm a little disturbed, a little upset about it. Walmart makes us use those checkouts, the self-checkout. And I went through the other day with some self-checkout stuff. And one side said cash only. And the other side said credit card only. So I went to the credit card only side and went down to the very last one. And I rung up my groceries. And as I rung them up, I bag them and I put the first bag in the cart. Rung up. I don't like putting everything in the cart and then paying, which I'm going to change my ways now. Because I don't want them to think I'm going to throw them in the cart and run. I'm easy to catch anyways, but I don't know why I think that. So I usually complete my transaction, get my receipt, and then I put the rest of my stuff in my cart and I go. Well, I swiped the card and it wouldn't read. No, I shouldn't say I swiped it. I plugged it in because it's got a chip. And it didn't work. And I knew I had money in that account, but it wasn't working. And the lady came over and she goes, oh, this machine never works. Well, if it never works, why is it open? And if it never works for a credit card, why is it open on the credit card side only? So she had to go through all of this stuff. I'm crooked. She had to go through all of this stuff to get my card to read. It reads. She hands me the receipt. She goes, "There you go, hon." I said, "Thank you." And I walked out the door. And I left about $15 worth of really good, low carb, high protein, dairy stuff. Really good Greek yogurt, all this stuff. And I left it there. And I'm so disappointed because I just didn't realize it because we were both putting groceries away. And I just figured Papa Jim put it away. And I couldn't find my yogurt to make a smoothie because I bought blueberries too. And you know that since it was self-checkout, the next person who came up behind me put it right in their cart. But I moved slow. Somebody could have caught me and said, "Ma'am, you forgot your stuff." No, it went in their cart. And I just feel like calling them and saying, if you know that this machine has a problem, why is it open? I mean, how many people have left their groceries because they get all caught up in this? I don't know. Denise puts them in a pot and they get watered once a week and they sit in her living room bay window. All right. Dana, maybe that is the type of plant you need. Amaryllis, look those up. I thought about calling them. Marlene, see, I remembered your name. It's a 40-mile one-way trip for me. So what am I going to do? I mean, I'm not going to drive 80 miles to pick up some cream cheese and Greek yogurt. But I feel like I don't know. Maybe I'll call them and just hang on to the receipt, like Dana's suggesting, and maybe I'll go up and see about it if I can get some more. Good morning, Gail. How are you today? I'm trying to behave myself and eat something to stabilize my sugars this morning. So I don't know. On Sunday when Papa Jim was switching around the washer and dryer for me, he had to run into our little town to pick up some fittings or something to put the washer and dryer back into the boot room. And he came back with cream cheese and some sour cream. I didn't ask him to get yogurt because it was a specific yogurt that was high in protein. All right, I'll give them a call, guys. I'll give them a call and see what comes up. I've still got the receipt. I'm sure I tucked it in my purse. But I was disappointed because I was so I should have put some blueberries on my bread this morning. Just got to eat those up. Because here's one for you. Oh no, Chrissy, she had to leave, didn't she? I was going to tell her. I don't know if you guys remember. I've got that little gas pump blender to make smoothies. It looks like a gas pump and it's from Snap-on. It looks like an old vintage gas pump. It's so cute. So cute. So I'll see if I can make that right. And if not, I have to not be bitter and hope that the people who picked it up behind me at least needed it. Maybe it was my unintentional way of paying it forward. I don't know. I'm not mad at them. I'm not mad, really. I'm just upset that if they know the machine has problems, you probably shouldn't set your customers up to use it. I guess that's where I'm going with it. So let's see. What else is going on in my life? I have to come up with something fun to talk about, you guys. This is horrible. I'm just like, rah, 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 rah. Somebody drop a topic. I'm going to look through some of my things here and see if I can come up with something. Most embarrassing moment in public. I think I already told you guys this one, though. Did I tell you about the time I went to SeaWorld? I think I did. Is it my most embarrassing? I don't know. I had gone to SeaWorld, and I think I did share you this. Went to SeaWorld, and this was when I was a representative for the community that I lived in. Ooh, Thanksgiving favorite food. Okay, because I know I told you this other one about when I walked in the men's room, and I didn't realize I was in the men's room at SeaWorld until I got all the way into the men's room, and there were all these men lined up at a urinal, and I went, "Oh!" And they all turned and looked at me. I bet you if they all turned to the left, I bet you they peed on each other as they turned. let's talk, because Baroque said it first, and then we'll hit another subject. Thanksgiving favorite food. Now, I have a blog, guys. It's not called Country Mama Musings, but I have a blog that has one of my favorite recipes in it. So if you ever want to sneak on over there, you can. I don't make any money off of everything, so I'm only plugging it so that you can get the recipe. But I have a recipe that I make every year, and the family demands it. If I'm not bringing this meal, this side dish, there's going to be broken hearts and things are going to be thrown at me. But I make these delicious herb-infused creamed potatoes. They are so good. And I probably will be making them again this year for Thanksgiving, but I'm not going to get to enjoy them the way I want to, but I will have a small portion. But what you do is you get fingerling potatoes, these tiny little, so you get baby reds, little baby Yukon golds, the fingerling purple Peruvian potatoes. You get all of this beautiful color of these potatoes, and you just quarter them and put them in a baking dish. And after you quarter them and get them in a baking dish, you get a really large container of heavy whipping cream, get it on the stove, and you start to warm it up. Then you get a little metal sieve and you put it down into the milk. And in that sieve, you put not dried, but real herbs. Not that dried aren't real, but you know what I mean. You put sage, rosemary, and thyme. And you put those herbs down in the milk in that sieve, and you just let them warm up, and it infuses that cream with all of the herbs. It's so good. And once you've infused the cream, then you just lift the sieve out and all of the herbs come out with it, so you don't have to pick them out of your cream. And then you add some freshly grated nutmeg, and it's such a beautiful cream. It is so fragrant. It's beautiful. You got the little flecks of nutmeg in it. And then you pour that over all of your potatoes. So you want it to cover the potatoes completely. So if you have to make more cream, depending on how many potatoes you cut up, and you just pour that over it. Then you sprinkle the whole thing with Parmesan cheese and you pop it in the oven. It is, yes, fresh Biddy, Dana, thank you. Fresh herbs. You know what I mean? The live ones. You put them in the oven and you bake it until your potatoes are nice and, fork tender. Delicious. They soak up all of that herb infused cream, and the Parmesan cheese makes a nice crust on top. It is absolutely delicious. So the second thing, I'm going to give you two of my favorites, and I don't know if I have my second one on the blog. Let me tell you the name of my blog just in case. It is My Life as a Grape in a Box of Rocks at blogspot.com. And the title, once you get in there, will be self-evident about how just the world presses in on me. And someday I will be a fine wine. But it's my life as a grape in a box of rocks. But the second recipe that I absolutely love, Betty, or why do I keep wanting to call you Betty? Dana, Biddy boo. Falling down in the bathroom stall in a roller skating rink as a teenager. Oh, Gail, that would be awful. And yes, Donna, we will hit that in a second here. Second favorite thing. And it doesn't matter where we go for Thanksgiving. And if somebody's done a turkey and they're stuffing, I'm still requested to bring my stuffing muffins. So I make stuffing muffins, and they are so delicious. And what I do is I take the stuffing mix and I add your usual vegetables to it, your onions and your celery, all of the seasonings. And I take, instead of adding water, I add apple cider. And then I slice up green apples, and I put little chunks of green apples in the stuffing. And then I scoop them into muffin tins with big mounds on the top, and then I bake them. And then everybody gets a stuffing muffin at Thanksgiving. And if you're lucky, you'll get two. But it doesn't matter, whatever else there is available, everybody wants a stuffing muffin. There's something about the seasonings and the stuffing and all of the vegetables, but then you put that sweetness of the apple juice, apple cider, and the apples, chunks of apples in it. So delicious. So try those. I'm not sure if that's on my blog as well, but stuffing muffins and creamed potatoes. That is my best thing to make for Thanksgiving. So then I saw Marlene asked, what is my favorite thing to can? Lately, I will tell you my favorite thing to can, and I'm going to be doing a video on it, is I got that new Nesco pressure canner. It's an electric one. And I have been making French onion soup in it. It is so easy the way I do it. Denise and I went to an onion and potato farm, and I brought home 50 pounds of onions. And I am about a little more than halfway through the bag. So I'll be making more French onion soup today. But French onion soup, so easy, so delicious. I'm loving it. And even if I'm not having it as a French onion soup, it makes a great soup base. And I've done that twice now. For another video I'm going to do. Gosh, I have so many videos lined up that I need to do. Gotta go. Okay, Monica, thanks for dropping in, honey. Have a good day and be safe. Yes, Donna, stuff and muffins. Good stuff. What was I talking about? Oh, canning. I'm telling you guys, I'm losing it. But my other favorite thing to can, which really doesn't involve canning, but I love it because it is such a neat process, is I love making my own ghee. I've got a video on that. Look it up if you want to learn how to make your own ghee. But what I love about making the ghee is there's just something about spooning the oil out and the milk solids are on the bottom. It's a process, and for me, it's very relaxing. I don't find it to be frustrating at all. But I love just taking a little spoon and just barely dipping into the oils of the butter and having the oils spill in and the butter solids stay at the bottom, and then filling my jars up and making my own homemade ghee. So for those of you who don't know what ghee is, it's clarified butter. It is butter that I get out at the Amish markets. I get the Amish butter, and you process it so that it makes the milk solids separates from the butter fat. And then I can cook with that. And it has a smoke point of like 485 degrees. So I fry my eggs in it. I use it for cooking. I love it. It is delicious. And so I really love putting my own ghee in jars. My other thing that I really love to can, I did a video on my top 5 things I love to can. I loved making that onion jam. I love that onion jam. I really enjoyed the process of the pepper jelly, but I love making jams and jellies. I love making carrot cake jam. That's one of my favorites, is getting some organic carrots from my neighbor and making the carrot cake jam. I don't have a video on that yet though, but I don't know so far if there's something that I haven't really truly enjoyed canning. I've enjoyed all of it. And I know I'm going to enjoy it more now that I've got this electric pressure canner. Because we have a really great stove set up out in my summer kitchen, and I have the big Presto 23-quart pressure canner, and I've been using that. But I will admit I am a ninny when it comes to lighting stoves and lighting propane stoves. I don't like that flash of fire when it lights. And then when you turn everything off and you get that, I'm always afraid I'm going to get burnt or something's going to happen. So, but I'm going to be canning more now that I've got this new canner, and I've been experimenting with these potatoes. Is ghee better for us than olive oil? I imagine they both have their own properties that are good for you. Whether one's better for us than the other, I don't know, but I know olive oil is very good for us, and ghee is good. And I was actually doing some research for a diabetic diet this week, and they recommend both. They both are good for a diabetic diet. They recommended olive oil as opposed to vegetable oils, and they recommended ghee. So I just like ghee because once you process it, you can keep it on your shelf for months. Not that it lasts that long. You don't have to refrigerate it like you have to refrigerate the butter because the milk solids have been removed. And it's healthy, and you can use it for your cooking. So that's why I do like that. But I'll be doing more canning. I was just going to say I'm doing an experiment with the potatoes that Denise and I picked up the other day. So there is a video going around on Facebook that shows this woman. She just cuts her potatoes, puts them in the jar, covers them with water, adds a little salt and some parsley, and she cans them. And it's like, you don't have to go through all these other steps. And I thought, well, I'm going to try that. So I tried it, and they looked beautiful when I took them out of the canner. And then the next day, they were just encased in all of the starch. So they're still good. And I think they'll be good like in a soup, and you'll have, it will be a nice thickener. I thought, okay, now I'm going to try it another way that I've been watching people do. So I cut all my potatoes up and I rinsed them 3 times. And then I canned them. And they were beautiful when I took them out. 2 days later, they're very, very starchy. So my next batch, I am going to go ahead and boil them for 2 minutes and then rinse them 3 times and then can them. And then I'm going to see what the differences are. Oh, good morning, Sherry. How are you today? Welcome, welcome. We're just talking about all kinds of stuff. And right now we're talking about canning. And Sherry was kind enough to chime in on my sweet onion jam that premiered yesterday. Oh, it's so delicious. I had some for dinner last night. And even though it has brown sugar in it, I was very, very good. I only took 1 teaspoon out of the jar and I put it on top of my little plant-based hamburger patty that I was eating. So, so delicious. Oh, I do hope you get to try it, Sherry. It is so good. But, earlier up in the chat, Donna was saying that she was so thankful that her daughter, Nina, who is my daughter-in-law, is well because she was driving home from work the other day and she hit a deer. And luckily she was in a vehicle that sustained the impact very, very well. Very little damage to the vehicle. If she had been in a smaller car, it might have been a different outcome. But thankfully she was in a Tahoe. And so she hit that deer. And unfortunately, the deer didn't make it. And she was out on a country road where really there was nobody to help her with anything. And she had to drag the deer out of the middle of the road by herself. And it's unfortunate, even though you all know I'm a vegetarian, I won't eat meat. But it's a shame that it couldn't have been put to use. There was no way she could get it into her vehicle to put it to use. I know my son was like, oh man, if we would have had that, could have taken over to his friend's house and they could have processed it. But out here, you have to call the sheriff. You have to wait for the sheriff to show up. They have to give you a tag. Then you have to get it loaded up. And it's a whole process. And I don't think that she wanted to even deal with that or had the time to deal with it. So unfortunately, that poor deer lost its life and is on the side of the road somewhere. But I'm thankful that she's okay. Did Laura pop in? I saw somebody say hello to Laura at Homestead. Chog Homestead. Hello, Laura. I'm tongue-tied this morning, I'm telling you. Oh, my goodness. So it makes me very sad when I see the deer on the side of the road. But I know they would have liked to have filled their freezer with it. She is okay. And she handled it like a champ. I know she said she felt bad for the deer, but she really handled it much better than I would have. Because if I'm going to hit a deer, you better believe I'm going to be on the side of the road, bawling my eyes out like a baby and apologizing to the deer. And it'll take me a while to compose myself. And if it ever happens, you guys will be hearing about it in these coffee chats for years. Because I won't let it go. When you're driving and there's birds in the road and you just keep driving and you think they're going to fly out of the way. And I remember, gosh, my kids were little. I was driving down the road and there were all these birds in the road. And it's like, they'll move out of the way. And they did, except for one. And I didn't have time to react. And I hit that little bird. I mean, I went right over it, but it must have jumped and it hit the bottom of the car. I don't know. I slammed on my brakes and I jumped out of my car and I ran back to the back of my car. And there's this little bird dead in the road. And I'm just bawling. I'm just bawling. And one by one, its friends started landing around me and making noises. And I thought, oh my God, it's like the birds. They're going to attack me. So I didn't even get to stay around and mourn very long because I thought they were going to peck my eyes out. Oh, someone picked up the deer. Okay, that's good. So somebody put it to use. That's good. Dana says our poor red truck over the years has caught 10 deer. Chevy is a good vehicle for that stuff. My goodness, 10 deer. Knock on wood. I have not hit a deer. I did, though, since we've moved out here. I was coming home from the butterfly sanctuary a couple years ago where I had gone to release the monarchs and tag them and send them on their journey to the forests in Mexico. I was driving home. I was feeling so good. I was feeling so good because I had participated in this wonderful thing for the preservation of nature and releasing these beautiful butterflies on their migratory path to Mexico, where they can study them and all this and see how far they make it and all this stuff about these really neat butterflies. I was feeling so good. And I'm driving home and like, I'm just feeling so good. And just as I'm feeling good, this skunk runs out into the road. And again, I have no time to react. I really don't have any time to react. But this has probably been 3 years now. 2 years, 3 years. And I could still see its poor little face as it looked up at me. And then I heard the thump. I mean, I couldn't react. Uh-oh, here it comes. That little squirrel or that little skunk. And it reminded me of Flower from Bambi, you know. It's just running along and I have no time to react. And it just looks up at me and then there's a thump. I was like, oh my God. And I was just like apologizing and crying. And then it hit me. Oh my God. When I hit it, it released its funk. Okay. And you know when you're driving and you pass where somebody has hit a skunk and it smells so bad and you have to hold your breath until you get far enough away because it smells so bad in the cab of your car. That poor little skunk released its funk and it went up into the engine compartment. So not only are you smelling the funk of the skunk, but it's cooking on the engine, the hot engine. They are the most beautiful little stinkers. I would never intentionally run one over. You love the smell of skunk on a nice cold morning. Sounds like that comes from a movie about the smell of napalm. I had that stench all the way home. The yard stunk of it. It took weeks for that funk to burn off the engine so that I didn't smell it every time I drove that car. Oh my God, it was awful. A deer whistler on the front of our vehicle. We thought about those, but we haven't gotten one. Luckily, I think, let's see, out of those of us who have moved here in the last 8 years, this is the first deer. So out of 3 families that we have here, only 1 deer. That's not bad. Now, I know my brother who was in here earlier, and he's lived here for quite some time. Well, hello, Rochelle. He's hit a couple of deer, but we've been very fortunate. Now, my son took off the whole front of his car on a raccoon. Raccoon just ripped the whole bumper off and messed up the grill and everything. But we were coming home from a Christmas thing a few years ago. It's only been a couple, actually. And Papa Jim had, some celebratory drinks with his coworkers. So I was the designated driver and I'm driving and something told me to slow down. It's like 10, 11 o'clock at night and something told me to slow down. And I did, but I didn't slow down enough because then in the headlights, there were about 5 raccoons in the middle of the street. And again, I know it's just the natural reaction, but what is ingrained in my brain is all of these raccoons looking up at me right before I hit them. I slammed on my brakes, but not slammed on my brakes because I can't put us in a ditch over this. But I did try to brake and give them time to at least scatter. And I know some did, but I know I took out 2 or 3 of them. Thump, thump, thump. And and I told my husband, it's like, should I stop? He's like, what are you going to do? I can't turn around and go back. I can't help them. You're just going to have to keep on driving. And I know the next day when people were going to work, they were like, oh, wow. Because there's probably like 3 or 4 right there in the middle of the road dead. It was distressing. Let me tell you. But in some way, really weird way, because this is not me at all. In some weird way, I felt a little justified because I'd had a raccoon that was killing my chickens. Better than hitting a moose. Yes, Rochelle. Have you hit a moose, Rochelle? Is that why you're saying this? Armadillos will take out a grill and a bumper on a small vehicle. That's why I drive a large pickup. Gosh darn, my hair is just tickling my nose. I've never hit an armadillo, but I have lived in Arkansas and Texas where we did have armadillos, but I've never hit one. I think they're adorable too. I think I would be highly distressed if I hit an armadillo. I think I would feel really bad. I've not hit a possum out here. We do have possums. I've not hit a possum. But we've had them in our barn, and Papa Jim gets them in a trash can, and he takes them down to the creek, and he lets them go. And I just laugh because it's like the creek's like a mile away, and then they're going to come back. They know where the cat food is. Not you, but you've seen it. The armadillos jump straight up like little jumping beans, huh? Boink, and then they get hit. It'd be like pinball. Poor little things. My husband's coworker hit a deer, and it came through the windshield. And when the paramedics got there, they thought he was dead because there was so much blood. And it wasn't his blood, it was the deer's blood. And he broke every bone in his face. He had to have all reconstructive surgery and everything, broke every bone in his face. But he survived. The deer, not so lucky. And then when I was with Denise the other day and we were driving up to the potato farm, she said she has a friend that hit a deer, or her friend's daughter, I think it was, hit a deer. And it was so full of deer ticks that there were just ticks. Could you imagine? It would be bad enough to have a deer come through the windshield and have it on you, but then to be covered in ticks, and then there's ticks everywhere. Oh my gosh. Those whistlers didn't work for me. I've heard both positive and negative. Deer cost me $1,200 in damage. It was kicking in the ditch. I called the parts store to get prices for radiators. Then pulled out my buck knife and put it to sleep. Called someone to come and get the meat. Yeah, I mean, sometimes that's what you have to do. They come straight back. They'll kill your chickens, Alicia. A possum will eat the heads off and the bottoms out. Ooh. I've had a weasel. I've had an ermine here that had given us some trouble. And then the raccoons that gave us some trouble. And I've had a couple of headless chickens over the years, but never knew who really, really did it. I suspected the ermine. But the scene in Tommy Boy, I know we were talking about that the other day when my daughter-in-law hit that deer. Papa Jim was talking about the scene in Tommy Boy. The deer wakes up in the back seat. Everybody's freaking out. That probably would have happened to her too. It's a nice looking deer too. It was a young deer. I feel so bad. I know. I'm not going to say that because that makes me sad. But anyways, never put it in the car. A lot of people do. There's pictures back from the place where I grew up where kids I went to school with, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, we all drove, even though we weren't licensed. They're always driving around with a deer in the back of the car. Not the truck, the car. Like they're driving around in Grandma's Lincoln Continental and there's a deer in the back seat. It's hysterical. They thought it was great. Back to work. Thanks for the coffee break. Thank you, Rochelle, for showing up. Appreciate it. All right, guys. And now Rochelle's going to leave, but I'm going to say this. Let's give away some marigold seeds, shall we? Who wants marigold seeds? Some of you already have some. We have a whole spectrum of predators. Coins Possums, foxes, coyotes, bobcats, and mountain lions. What are coins? I'm not slitting any throats. I'm not bleeding anything out. I'll call somebody else that needs the meat. I'm not doing it. Still trying to figure out what a coin is that is a predator. All right, here's the deal. Every garden needs marigolds. First person to answer correctly will get a packet of marigold seeds from my garden. How long did Papa Jim and I have to hold our hands in the casting agent for our 40th anniversary hand mold? If you watch the video, you know. This is the stuff that we put our hands in that would actually make the mold for our hand that we would later pour the plaster of Paris in. How long did we have to hold our hands in there without moving? Anybody? Watch hours. Go back and watch it. It's a long video. You can't watch the whole thing. Maybe I shouldn't have done that because it'll affect my click rate if anybody just goes in and looks just for that. These are beautiful marigolds. Dana got it. Dana got the first answer. It was 10 minutes. I had such terrible shoulder cramps. Oh my gosh. It looked comfortable. It felt comfortable. And we got our hands in there. 10 minutes is a long time to not move. I was standing on my tippy toe. I was cramping. Oh my gosh. It was worth it though. It was worth it. So Dana, you win. I'm going to try to make it into town Friday and send Cameron his little gift, and I will put the marigold seeds in there with that. So Dana gets the marigold seeds. Okay, it has taken me 1 hour and 17 minutes to get to my second piece of English muffin. You're welcome, Dana. I look forward to sending them to you. Okay, one more time, guys. One more time. I'm putting the link up if anybody wants to join me. If not, I think I'm going to get on with my day. Let you guys get on with your day. We've been on here for 1 hour and 17 minutes. If nobody wants to hop up, we'll just move on. And then this week, when I get reminded stuff, hello, LP. I was just getting ready to say that I was going to close things out for the day. We've been chit-chatting about all kinds of things. Alas, I had no stories. Okay, I had a few. But everybody watch for later in the week. I'm going to put out a quick registration video for our giveaway on Sunday to celebrate reaching 500 subscribers a little while back, and for our 1-year anniversary on YouTube. So watch for that registration video. And then I will start promoting where we're going to go live on Sunday. I want to make sure I don't mess with anybody else's lives. That's going to be almost impossible. So hoping tomorrow the doctor will help me take care of the breathing problem. Are you having difficulty breathing, Dana? Baroque cowgirl. Coins is raccoons. She put coons. It changed it to coins. Yes, raccoons. Shoveling dirt. You know, I could read that many different ways, LP. You're shoveling dirt. Is it a 6-foot hole? Gotta know. I gotta know. Or are we just shoveling dirt to shovel dirt? My granddaughter was over here the other day. Sweet little thing. Shortness of breath from your pneumonia. You know, it's going to take you a long time to really build that back up. I've had pneumonia several times. Give yourself some time, sweetie, but I do hope that the doctor is going to be able to give you something either advice or something to help you with that. I know how that is, and I'm sorry that you're going through that. And I hope that you start feeling better soon. So keep me updated.